Tonight, a growing push on harm reduction.
We can prevent cardiac issues, we can prevent HIV transmission, and we can prevent hepatitis C transmission.
The call for the province to make needle exchanges available.
When we run out of harm reduction supplies to give out, usage doesn't stop, at all.
At Heart Hubs. Dreaming big.
It'd be nice to, have your children with no mortgages and set up your retirement.
The rush to beat the odds.
If you flip a coin 25 times and get 25 heads, that's about the same as your chances of winning the jackpot.
For another massive lotto jackpot. A pop song project.
It's where I belong, down at the Pink Pony Club.
To get kids into books.
With the success of Pink Pony Club, I thought, what better song to morph into a library anthem.
I heard that there's a special place with books and fun that's bound to put a smile on your face.
The Waterloo Library's literary spin on a hot tune.
Good evening. First up tonight, a push for the province to change how it's dealing with the drug overdose crisis. An open letter urging the government to allow needle exchanges at Heart Hubs has been gaining traction, both here in Waterloo Region and right across Ontario. Let's go to CTV's Heather Centerin live with more on this story. Heather, we should note the province says it will collect needles at Heart Hubs, but why do advocates say that that's not enough?
Because they can't get clean needles and syringes at Heart Hubs, Tony. They would have to go elsewhere in the region where they offer harm reduction supplies. But advocates say providing sterile supplies for those who are already using drugs makes sense.
Dozens of organizations across the province say offering safe supply of things like needles and syringes for those who use drugs could save lives.
We can prevent cardiac issues, we can prevent HIV transmission, and we can prevent hepatitis C transmission.
Thrive HIV Prevention and Support among the many who signed a letter asking the province to reverse the needle distribution ban at the 9 homeless and addiction recovery treatment hubs, or Heart Hubs, that opened across the province in April. Advocates say handing out a safe supply isn't just about needles, it's about the conversation that comes with it.
Every single one of those interactions is a direct healthcare interaction, but every single one of those actions is an open door and a welcome in to different forms of changing substance use or recovery as that person sees fit for themselves.
Health experts say needle and syringe programs have been proven to work.
But really, the lessons learned from the HIV epidemic of the 1990s is that distribution coverage is really key to reducing transmission.
You can get harm reduction supplies elsewhere, but not at a Heart Hub.
It's not simply, go next door and you can get these services. It might be, you need to go to Thrive, which is on King Street East, and is that going to be possible for someone? Will someone instead use an unsanitary syringe?
When we run out of harm reduction supplies to give out, usage doesn't stop, at all. It literally is just people use dirty tools to do it.
Jacob lives at an encampment in Kitchener. He doesn't use drugs, but knows those that do.
People are going to be doing drugs anyway. That'll always happen to some degree, but ultimately empowering people to make the best decisions for themselves, isn't just something that sounds good. It's something that actually has better outcomes than trying to top-down manage people who are the most, desperate and in most need in society.
Meantime, a spokesperson for the Minister of Health said in a statement, in part, our government's focus is on offering people struggling with mental health and addictions challenges a pathway to treatment, not giving them tools to use illicit drugs. Needle return and collection services are offered at Heart Hubs. The ministry added that they will be adding supportive housing units in addition to addiction recovery and treatment beds to help thousands of people a year.
The letter to the ministry included signatures from hundreds of medical and legal experts across the province, including the Wellington Guelph Drug Strategy, who told CTV News in a statement that needle exchange programs often serve as the first point of contact for those who use drugs, adding that cutting that service could increase harm, isolation, and risk of illness. Tony.
All right, Heather, appreciate that. CTV's Heather Senerin reporting live for us tonight. Okay, time to head outside and downtown, as a matter of fact, for our first check on the weather. Alex Pinto live on location tonight. Alex, you're in downtown Kitchener, cruising on King. Officially got underway a little while ago, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but I know this is all about cars, and you've got a pretty famous car in this segment you're about to give to us here.
I sure do. So it's one of several cars that are going to be lining King Street tonight for Cruising on King. The event running right through until 9:30 or so tonight. We're lucky too, where we got a little bit of a relief from the heat with some cloud cover. I want to go to Aggie now, who has a kit replica from Knight Rider, and you even have some celebrities who have signed it. Tell us about your car.
So it's the very first car I ever bought. It was from the original owner. It was white and all rusty, and in 3 years it got rebuilt into kit from scratch. It was a childhood dream, and tonight we are here live Kitchener at Kitchener City Hall, enjoying the show with all the people and other movie cars, just like the Jurassic Park Jeep and the DeLorean from Back to the Future. It's a lot of fun to be here. We really enjoy it. We met a whole lot of wonderful people. It's just very, very hot tonight.
It is hot, but that's definitely not stopping people from coming out tonight. You said to me earlier, David Hasselhoff drove your car.
Yes, that's correct. There is a gumball rally in 2022 in Toronto on Dundas Square, and David Hasselhoff opened the rally with Kit through the flag pole and everything. It was so much fun. A lifelong memory for sure.
What's it like? I know you kind of touched on it too, but just seeing families and just people coming by, checking your car out. What's that like for you?
It's an amazing feeling to see people remembering the show, and they teach their children what it was, and when they get home they will show them everything, what their childhood was like. It's just a nice feeling that, you know, the memories go and go and go on.
Yeah, bringing some of that nostalgia back here. Aggie, thank you so much. So yes, Aggie is part of the celebrity section, if you will. So she noted a Jeep from Jurassic Park. We've got a DeLorean. But lucky for us here, we've got a little bit of cloud cover this hour. Hopefully it sticks around, because that's providing a little bit of relief from the heat. But that heat warning still in effect, getting to our boards now tonight. So that heat warning in place from today, expected to last right through until Thursday. So this is due to a prolonged period of near heat warning levels. So temperatures that humidex could be close or actually hit that heat warning criteria. So daytime highs expected 29 to 32, but with that humidity, it could feel up to 40. As we look at our satellite and radar map, like we noted, a couple clouds over Kitchener-Waterloo City Hall, but not too bad, or downtown Kitchener rather, City Hall, so not too bad here at Carl's Air Square. Surrounding areas also seeing a little bit of cloud cover. If you are further west down the 401, you could be seeing a little bit of wet weather at this point. Currently 28 degrees. We did hit our high of 29 this afternoon around 3 o'clock or so. 27 in Goderich, 26 this hour in London. And with that humidity, like we're talking about, it's feeling much hotter. Feels more like 35 here in KW, 33 in London, and 33 in Goderich. So again, that heat warning still in place, but that's definitely not stopping people from coming out and enjoying Cruisin on King. So lots to see and do. There are food vendors, there's a patio, there are licensed patios. You can actually walk with a drink for part of King Street here, which is neat to see. But several cars. Last year, I believe close to 30,000 people actually made their way here. So we'll have to see how many appear today, Tony.
I can pretty much hear the Knight Rider theme in my head right now as I look at that car, Alex. I don't know how we're going to beat that, but we'll sure try when we check in with you once again at Cruisin on King. Alex Pinto, thank you so much. We'll talk to you shortly. Well, U.S. President Donald Trump is back at it, threatening to hit Canada with 35% tariffs beginning next month. Of course, Canada and the U.S. have been working on a trade deal for months now, but less than 2 weeks before the deadline, the U.S. president's not only doubling down, he's upping the threat. And as CTV's Colton Prale tells us, it has some wondering if a deal is even possible.
After weeks of pushing for a trade deal, Canada is staring down an even bigger threat.
Frankly, the friends have been worse than the foes in many cases. So
President Donald Trump now says he'll put in place 35% tariffs beginning August 1st. The White House says it wouldn't apply to energy tariffs or goods covered by the free trade agreement. But the president hasn't confirmed that.
we're going to see. It was sent yesterday. They called. I think it was fairly well received, but it's what we need. So we'll see what happens.
While some critics say the Liberals need to follow through on the elbows up mantra, Ottawa argues it is.
Canada is the only country on earth, along with China, that has imposed so many counter tariffs. So we have had already a very strong response.
Canada didn't retaliate when Trump increased tariffs on steel and aluminum and gave up billions foregoing collection of the digital sales tax after the president ended trade talks over the issue.
Carney's keeping his mind very much on the end game, which is to secure that economic and security framework with the United States.
Since last month, Canada's target for a trade deal has shifted. July 16th quickly became July 21st. And now Canada says the new target is August 1st, before counter tariffs will be applied. But it's the day before that deadline that could make all the difference. That's when the U.S. Supreme Court is set to decide if Trump's executive order tariffs are legal.
The last possible hope for Canada. We can't trust a deal with the president. Our only hope is the courts or Congress. And if we lose the courts, well, then we know where we stand.
The court decision won't impact tariffs on Canadian steel, aluminum, autos, or copper, all of which were applied under a different measure. Colton Prale, CTV News, Ottawa.
In response to the U.S. president's latest tariff threat, Prime Minister Carney said Ottawa will continue to defend Canadian workers and businesses as those trade talks continue. He also pointed to efforts to strengthen trade ties between provinces and throughout the world. Premier Doug Ford said the PM agreed to his request for an in-person First Ministers meeting in Huntsville later this month. He said the goal was to discuss a united Canadian response. Well, goods that comply with the existing trade agreement with the U.S. will not be affected by the new tariff threat, but that is not doing much to clear up confusion over just how big of a hit the Canadian economy would take. CTV's Abigail Beeman takes a closer look.
It's just so much fun.
The treasure bin at Rainbow Minerals may be fun. The trade war's impact on the small beading and jewelry supply business is not. American products are 25% more expensive, and they've stopped shipping south because the paperwork is too much. Ash Charania says there's lots of confusion and little help, with the new 35% threat making things worse.
The small businesses are being put in the middle as a pawn. And in the game of chess, those are the pieces that are thrown to the side to get to the bigger picture.
And they determine whether your goods qualify as.
The federal government does offer a guide and CUSMA compliance support phone line, though many don't seem to know about it.
The constant changing of the goalposts and the deadlines and the numbers continues, and that's quite toxic for business.
According to U.S. trade data, in 2024, only 38% of Canadian goods entered the U.S. under CUSMA, while RBC estimates 94% of Canadian exports were actually eligible. Experts say it's a matter of businesses not wanting to deal with the paperwork headache, as well as a lack of enforcement at the border.
Perhaps they thought the juice wasn't worth the squeeze because we were still getting into the United States duty and tariff free. That is no longer the case. And so it is very vital that businesses do it.
In terms of the small list of products not covered by CUSMA, they include a few agricultural goods and some textiles and others that don't meet the rules of origin requirements.
The vast majority of Canadian exports do qualify for tariff and duty free to the United States.
Experts say getting that CUSMA certification is crucial as everyone waits to see what President Trump's final decision on tariffs may be. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Stay in the know by starting your day with the CTV Kitchener newsletter. The best local content from CTV News right to your inbox every morning, including a look at the day's top stories, the latest weather forecast, and we've got some must-see videos for you on there as well. You can sign up at ctvnewskitchener.ca. One of the world's biggest pop stars has given a local literary mission an inspiration. Coming up, CTV's Spencer Turcott on the Waterloo Library's Chapel Road tribute and how it's aiming to achieve a goal.
It is hot and humid, but that's not keeping people away here in downtown Kitchener for Cruising on King. Classic cars lining up King Street. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news. When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Waterloo's public library is giving a bit of a musical makeover to one of the top pop songs of the year. They've reworked the lyrics to Chapel Roan's Pink Pony Club to help promote their summer reading club. CTV's Spencer Turcotte has more on the effort to keep young people reading year-round.
Despite being released 5 years ago, Chapel Roan's Pink Pony Club has hit the top of pop charts.
It's where I belong, down at the Pink Pony Club.
The Waterloo Public Library saw an opportunity.
With the success of Pink Pony Club, I thought, what better song to morph into a library anthem?
I heard that there's a special place with books and fun that's bound to put a smile on your face.
Library programmer Grace Carruthers took advantage of her musical talents to cover Pink Pony Club to promote their summer reading club.
The word similarity was just a beautiful coincidence. And she has this one dance move that she does where she reaches up and out. And I thought, you're just shelving books.
While it's sure to draw attention, it's not all about fun.
Summer Reading Club was initiated to help mitigate the summer slide. So evidence is showing that over those 2 months when kids are off from school, that there can be some regression in their learning.
Their target audience is children ages 4 to 12. The more kids read through the club, the better chance they have to win bi-weekly prizes and a grand prize at the end of the summer.
Our hope is that children will just gain a love of literacy, a love of reading, that they'll really want to engage with the stories, that they'll find themselves in new adventures.
So whether it's the Pink Pony Club or Summer Reading Club, this adventure meets kids where they're at.
I chose a song that I knew kids would know, but that maybe they would have to be listening to a censored version. I thought, why not give them a version that's just for them?
Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Waterloo.
What would you do with $70 million? That's what Lotto Max ticket holders are imagining ahead of tonight's big jackpot draw. It's one of the highest prizes available in the nationwide lottery since its inception. For more, let's bring in CTV's Karis Map. Karis, not going to lie, I went out and got a ticket on my lunch hour today. I know you were talking to a lot of people who were doing the same thing. What were they telling you?
Well, I also was planning to go out, but I forgot. But gas stations and convenience stores specifically have been busy today, with many people hoping for a chance to win the big one. I did speak with a few people who recently purchased a ticket. They said they realistically don't think they'll win, but have thought about where the funds would be used in their lives if they got the good news. The sound that lottery ticket buyers yearn to hear, especially with Friday night's Lotto Max jackpot growing to $70 million.
It's an interesting dream. And I think that, you know, on that very strange and unlikely event that you won, there's so much you could do with that money.
Most of the tickets sold for our big Lotto Max draws, especially when they're 60, 70, and potentially even $80 million, those tickets, majority of them are sold in the afternoon and evening before the draw.
Winning ticket or not, people say the hope keeps them coming back.
The biggest I win was $80. I don't drink, I don't smoke, so you have to do something for the funds.
I haven't won anything bigger than about $100. My husband calls it the poor man's tax, but I think there's always that, oh, what if, right? And that's kind of fun.
But what actually are the chances of winning a jackpot? Experts say roughly 1 in 33 million.
We can talk about a statistician's favorite hobby, which is flipping coins. If you flip a coin 25 times and get 25 heads, that's about the same as your chances of winning the jackpot.
But if there's no winning ticket tonight, Tuesday's draw will be a bigger one.
The jackpot will go up to 75 million, and then if not won then next week's Friday's draw will be $80 million. So that's the jackpot cap.
A limit that was increased last year to give buyers bigger opportunities.
Lotto Max was launched in 2009, and it started with a big jackpot of $50 million. It went from 50 to 60 million, then to 70 million, and last September we changed it to $80 million.
An increasing prize with similar odds for victory.
If there are more people playing, there is a slightly higher chance that if you do get lucky and match those 7 numbers, that someone else has got lucky as well. But the odds of that are still very, very small.
Don't let the odds deter you. OLG says Ontario has won a significant number of the national jackpots, with some wins hitting close to home.
For the Kitchener, Waterloo, and Wellington County region, there have been quite a few winners. The biggest was in December 2024. That was a $40 million Lotto Max jackpot. That ticket was sold in Fergus.
Until tonight's draw, ticket holders continue to dream about a big win.
It'd be nice to, have your children with no mortgages and set up your retirement.
Help to my 2 daughters, so pay the mortgage for them, do beautiful long vacation. I don't know, maybe find new woman. I'm just kidding.
Sweetening the pot, tonight's draw also has additional 10 Max Million prizes. Tickets can be purchased online or at any participating retailer until 10:30 tonight. Tony.
Thanks so much, Kara. CTV's Karis Map reporting live for us tonight. Well, let's get back outside live right now to King Street in downtown Kitchener. Here we are in the driver's seat, one of the driver's seats for Cruising on King, a summertime classic event in downtown Kitchener. All kinds of people out checking out the vehicles tonight. Coming up, Alex rejoins us from downtown Kitchener to tell us how the weather is expected to unfold tonight and this weekend, and also ahead. A somewhat unexpected jump in new jobs across Canada last month, but it wasn't entirely reflected here in southwestern Ontario. We will break down the local numbers coming up. And next, Stratford's social media star is out with a new take on the heated political climate, and it's got to do with cats. We'll explain next. Back to Alex live now in downtown Kitchener, and we've got entertainment, we've got bustling patios, but of course, one of the centerpieces of Cruising on King, Alex, are the incredible vehicles, the cars that everyone comes out to see. I know you're about to speak with someone who's going to show us one right now.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good one, but we've been seeing so many cool cars just lined up and down King Street, and there are so many people here getting out. Lucky for us, too, we got a bit of cloud cover, so a little bit of relief from the heat, which is pretty nice here for Cruisin' on King. Yeah, Steve is joining us live now. You have an 80 Firebird, a pretty beautiful car, and this is your first time taking part in Cruisin' on King. What do you think about it so far?
Great atmosphere here, lots of people, very friendly, good weather. I'm really impressed. It's my first time here, and I'm really glad I came up tonight.
People are walking up and down, checking your car out. What's it like just to be able to chat with people, too, about this event, but also your car?
Well, a lot of people know more about cars than I do, but this is a very unique car. It was originally a T-roof, which they didn't make in the 1980s. Convertibles were, they couldn't get insurance for them, so some dealers were able to take T-roofs and they chop them at a special shop and sell them as convertibles for triple the price. So they were a nice find, and my dad used to own this, so now I do, so it's been great taking care of it.
I was just going to ask what kind of got you into your interest with classic cars.
Well, it's nice to, drive around, meet people, share interesting stories. When you have a classic car, it's a lot to take care of. You need to know where you can get parts, sometimes with tariffs on them. As well, you have to make sure that you can take care of it and find the right people to help you with the mechanics of it. And it's great to just drive on a night like this when it's a soft evening with a convertible. It's really great.
And really quickly, before we go, is there one common question people have about your Firebird?
They've never seen one before because it was only a few hundred of these were made. They all think it's from the 60s, or they think that it's been modified in a way that it wasn't. Like I said, it's very rare, so I have to take care of it, and it's great that you noticed it yourself.
Sure did. Well, enjoy your first Cruisin on King officially as a participant. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to have you back.
Thank you. Yeah, so beautiful conditions out here. Again, really nice to have a little bit of that cloud cover, a bit of relief from that heat. But that heat warning issued by Environment Canada earlier today, that is still in place. So this is going to be a prolonged period of near heat warning levels, potentially meeting or close to that heat warning criteria. So this officially starting today, possibly it could run right through until Thursday. So we could see daytime highs of 29 to 32 over the next several days. But with that humidex, it could feel closer up to 40. And overnight lows up to 23. So we're really not getting much of relief from that heat, which is why that was put in place. So just a few notes here in terms of heat illness signs to keep an eye out. Headache, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, fainting. If you or a family member too have signs of heat stroke, that is considered a medical emergency. And of course, when we are seeing extreme heat like this, we do not want to leave people, we do not want to leave pets in vehicles either. So looking at our futurecast, we're seeing some cloud cover here in Kitchener, Waterloo this hour. There is a chance this evening we could see a shower or two as well, and potentially again closer to 8 o'clock or so. If you are going to be traveling down the 401 west towards the London area, you could see a risk of a thunderstorm there as we get into the evening hours, into your overnight. Again, mostly some cloud cover. There is that chance though, and a risk of a thunderstorm as we get into the overnight. And then for your Saturday, we potentially could see, some more wet weather roll in. If you can see all that green on your screen there, and getting into your Sunday as well. So 28 degrees. It's slightly cooler. We did hit our high of 29 around 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. 26 in Mount Forest, 27 in Sarnia, but it's that humidex. It is feeling much warmer, feeling more like 35 in KW, 33 in London, and 33 in Goderich. So we did hit that high today. So normal 26 for this time, so we are above normal for this time. Record high 37.2. That was issued in 1936. And then this day in 1945, our record low was 4.4. And on a day like today, I cannot even imagine it dropping down to 4 degrees or so. That sun now setting at 9:03 p.m. So perfect night for potentially a patio, but again, we want to keep our eye on the sky when we do have that risk of a thunderstorm. So again, that thunderstorm risk sticking with us overnight. It's going to be quite warm still, 20 degrees with 40% chance of showers. And then looking at tomorrow, 31 is the expected high. It's going to feel closer to 40, so it's going to be a hot one. Definitely want to stay hydrated. Showers and a risk of a thunderstorm potential. So over the weekend, we might need to keep that umbrella nearby. Chance of showers sticking with us before we get into your Monday and Tuesday, where that sunshine is expected to return. For Lambton, Kenton, Essex, similar conditions there. Thunderstorm risk, 40% chance of showers for your Saturday, and a slight chance of showers for your Sunday as well. And for Southern Georgian Bay, again, it could be a bit of a wet one for you. High of 25 for your Saturday with a 40% chance of showers before we could see more sunshine make a return. But here, in terms of a Friday night, pretty perfect-ish conditions, I would say, especially with that cloud cover right now. Definitely a relief from the heat, at least temporarily. But it is bustling. It is busy. There are people lining up and down the streets, so it's definitely the place to be for a Friday night, Tony.
Oh, it sure is. And so nice that the rain has held off so far so people can enjoy this early part of the evening down there on Cruisin on King. Okay, Alex, sounds good. We'll check in with you a little bit later. Appreciate it. What can cats teach us about political resistance? A Stratford-based author and content creator says there's enough to fill a small book. Stuart Reynolds, also known as Brittle Star, is out with a new book called Lessons from Cats for Surviving Fascism. And while it's meant to be funny, it's no joke, as CTV's Jeff Pickle explains.
Apps are resistance chapter, that's the best thing.
It's a book with biting wit and sharp claws.
Yeah, it started off as a bit of a joke.
A big fan of our feline friends and an astute political observer, Stuart Reynolds says this little joke turned into a much bigger idea.
So cats were the first thing that came to mind, because cats are jerks. Cats are fluffy little resistance machines. I thought it would be really funny to sort of see how cats would deal with fascists.
Reynolds says the notoriously stubborn and often sleepy animal is full of clues about how to deal with dangerous political undertones.
They make decisions based on what's solely best for them, but in a positive way for everybody else around them and their family and community.
Reynolds is well known for his funny and often political humor.
Thank you for joining. I'm here to deliver a Christmas message from the Government of Canada. Daddy's gonna need some knowledge.
He says wrapping a serious situation in a few laughs is a good way to lower the political temperature.
Through comedy, you can talk to people in a non-combative way, non-confrontational way. You can it's a spoonful of sugar to positive or constructive messaging. It's a way to talk about things that are normally uncomfortable or normally wouldn't be that pleasant to talk about, but you can do it in a manner that's entertaining and fun.
Despite the humor, Reynolds says he has real concerns about creeping authoritarianism.
Since World War II, haven't had to think about it. We've been like, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, you don't have to pay attention. Don't pay attention. And then realizing, I think we've kind of let go of the wheel a little bit.
With the book on shelves since June of this year.
I've been referring to the book as a silly little book for smart people or a smart book for silly people.
It's hit the bestseller list in Canada and the United States, sharing the four-legged art of resistance around the globe. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Stratford.
Have you ever heard of a smishing attack? Coming up on CTV News, the new warning about scams that are getting even more sophisticated because of AI. Stay with us.
Kitchener Blues Festival returns August 7th through 10th, and CTV Kitchener wants you to be there. Enter at ctvkitchener.ca now for your chance to win a 4-pack of VIP tickets to see Burton Cummings kick off the festival August 7th.
There's been a surprising surge in jobs across Canada in the month of June, but that trend wasn't entirely reflected locally. Stats Canada says the economy added 83,000 jobs last month, and that pushed the national unemployment rate down slightly from 7% to 6.9%. A poll of economists by Reuters earlier this week predicted that the jobless rate was going to go up. But one economist with CIBC said that today's data suggests there is some resilience in the job market despite those concerns about the impact of U.S. tariffs. Locally, however, the trend wasn't the same. StatsCan says the Kitchener-Waterloo-Cambridge unemployment rate was down slightly, but it remains above the national average at 7.2%. However, the rate in Brantford went up from 6.7% to 7%. Although Guelph's rate remains well below the national average, it still went up by almost a full percentage point to 5.8%. Also of note, Windsor had the highest unemployment rate of all census metropolitan areas of the country last month at 11.2%. There is a new warning about scam text messages which may be popping up on more phones, so-called smishing attacks. And it's getting harder to spot the scammers who are turning now to artificial intelligence to make their bogus messages seem more legit. Here's CTV's John Venevali-Rao.
The latest warning comes from the Competition Bureau, which says more people have been seeing those annoying scam texts pop up, claiming to be from agencies like Revenue Canada, or that you owe money for a toll highway, often including a link that scammers are trying to get you to click on. Janine Compton recently got one claiming she was caught speeding and had to pay a fine, and initially thought it might be real.
I almost got taken, but I didn't click on the link. I don't know what would have happened if I clicked on the link. I did not click. I just blocked the number.
Compton was the target of a scam known as SMS phishing or smishing. The texts often claimed to be from an actual organization or business. And while they used to contain things like spelling errors, making them easier to spot, AI services like ChatGPT are making them harder to detect.
Spelling mistakes used to be a tell, particularly when people had to write these messages themselves, and often it was people who didn't necessarily speak English as their first language.
The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre warns AI can also allow messages to be sent out at a faster rate, and warns scammers are using AI to scrape information about you from the internet.
Some of the messages may include some of your personal information as an extra way to try to convince you that it's a legitimate message, right?
The advice: never click on suspicious links, ignore texts even if asked to reply with stop or no, and forward spam text to 7726 or spam. And of course, delete them to avoid accidental interaction.
But as AI technology continues to improve, more people may fall victim, which is why the Anti-Fraud Centre and others want everyone to remain vigilant. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
All right, Leanne Evans joins us in studio now with a look at our top stories. And Leanne, a growing push for a shift in how the province has been handling the drug overdose crisis.
Right, so the province will only allow needle disposal at heart hubs, Tony, but advocates say the lack of a system to exchange needles and syringes will increase harm, isolation, and the risk of illness. In an open letter urging the province to make clean needles available at heart hubs, that has been gaining traction. In a statement to CTV News, the Ministry of Health said the focus is on offering a pathway to treatment and not giving people the tools to use illicit drugs. $70 million up for grabs tonight in the Lotto Max draw. People buying tickets that we spoke with today, they were excited and say they're dreaming big about a big win. Experts say the chances of winning a jackpot are roughly 1 in 33 million. If there's no winning ticket tonight, Tuesday's draw, of course, will be even bigger. Hey, 1 in 33 million, there's a chance.
There is a chance.
There's a chance.
Yeah, and you have no chance if you don't get one.
Exactly.
So it's what made me run across the street at lunch.
I'll be doing that too.
All right, let's take a look at what our digital team is working on, Leanne. Justin Bieber fans, happy to get this news tonight. We've got some details online about the Stratford native's new album.
Yes, so Justin Bieber dropping the surprise album today. It's his 7th studio album that he's had. He announced it just yesterday with a series of billboards in cities like New York and LA, even one not far from his hometown of Stratford. The album is called Swag. You can find out more about the track list and the other artists featured on the album. It's all on our website. Scan the QR code, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Some music to listen to tonight, Tony.
I feel like this kind of came out of nowhere, but
it came out of nowhere.
I don't usually have my pulse on all things pop, but this was kind of a surprise.
Big surprise.
Yeah.
Had it on today. It sounds pretty good.
Perfect. Okay. Get over to our website and read up on it. Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you.
Let's continue our series now on nature trails and outdoor spaces. Today we're going to take you to River Bluffs Park in the Galt area of Cambridge. With a boat launch into the Grand River, a shaded trail, and a huge pollinator preserve you can walk through, it's a great place for your next outdoor adventure.
Today we're at River Bluffs Park. We have a boat launch here that launches into the Grand River, as well as the trail that follows alongside the river. Coming out onto the dock here, we feel like we're becoming a part of the river, like a free recreational opportunity that people can partake in and enjoy. Now we've relocated into the pollinator preserve, and as we kind of wind through the paths here, we'll see such species as sumacs and red buds, honeysuckles, serviceberries, a lot of flowering trees and shrubs that encourage pollinators for butterflies, for bees, and for other pollinator species here in Cambridge. The Walter Bean Grand Trunk Trail runs from downtown Galt and runs to Blair at Fountain Street. It's approximately 6.5 kilometers. The surface is granular stone dust. There's some paved areas. It's moderately flat, a few slopes and hills here and there. Along the trail, you'll see such tree species as black walnuts, butternuts, white ash. It's part of the Trans-Canada Trail. So it's a major thoroughfare trail access-wise between Galt and Preston, and also joining into Kitchener. On a hot and sunny summer day, it's a great place to come. There's a lot of tree cover here. It would be a very cool place to take a walk and be shaded from the summer heat.
British rock band Coldplay is taking the stage in Toronto once again tonight after a couple of shows where the venue got some unexpected attention. More details on that coming up next.
It's Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning.
3 awesome people that want to start your day or finish your overnight shift.
You'll laugh, you'll text, you'll call, you'll scratch your head, and maybe even beat Backstage Ben. Weekday mornings from 5:30 to 10.
Listen live on the iHeartRadio app or at 105.3 Virgin Radio.
The stage is set for another big night at Toronto's new Rogers Stadium. Coldplay is returning tonight for the third of 4 concerts in the city. And fans are hoping for a smooth experience getting to and from the show. CTV's Allison Hurst explains.
Lexi and Sabrina Tamilia are from Brantford, going to the Coldplay concert and depending on the GO train.
A little nervous. We came from Brantford, so we're not even in like the GTA at all. So we have to get back to Union and then back to Brantford. So it's going to be a little bit of a journey tonight.
The pair have seats in the stands, which they're hoping will make for a smoother trip home.
I'm hoping it'll be a bit easier and like more organized being in the stands with the seats.
Metrolinx has added 3 additional southbound trains at 11:35, 11:45, and 11:55 to assist with the crowds at the end of the concert.
We're just going to wing it, I guess, and hope for the best. Hopefully we can make it in time.
Earlier this week, Twitter user Ange posted that the last northbound train leaves at 11:13, adding they had to leave the concert early to catch it. In response, an AI-generated tweet said, "Sounds like Ange had a dramatic dash to catch the last northbound train at 11:13 p.m. That's cutting it close." Metrolinx has since apologized for the comment.
That was CTV's Allison Hurst reporting. And let's check in with Heather Butts now to find out what's coming up later tonight on CTV National News.
Tonight, a new phone scam on the rise.
I almost got taken, but I didn't click on the link.
Why fraud experts say AI is making these smishing text attacks harder to avoid. That story and more later on CTV National News.
Well, King Street is the place to be for Cruisin on King. We have classic cars, plenty of food vendors, lots of great live music, and the crowds are just filling up. We'll let you know how the rest of the evening and how your morning's looking in Wake Up Weather coming up.
Here's what's on CTV tonight at 7 o'clock. It's E-Talk before The Big Bang Theory. Then at 8, Celebrity Jeopardy, and then Fear Thy Neighbor.
Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Home of Bounce Mornings with Angie Hill and Sarge. KW's Bounce 99.5. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
Your next local news comes up tonight at 11:30 right here on CTV. And Leanne Evans will be at this desk with all the latest information. Leanne, what are we following tonight?
Well, Tony, a garage fire in Kitchener caused $250,000 in damage. Crews say they removed 2 lithium-ion batteries and an e-bike from the garage. No one was hurt. We'll have more details on that investigation tonight. And also, crews with Grand Bridge Energy working hard this afternoon to clean up, repair, and replace a hydro pole in Cambridge after it was hit by a transport truck. So we'll bring you the latest on that as well at 11:30. Tony.
All right, Leanne Evans, thank you so much. And let's rejoin Alex Pinto live on King Street in Kitchener. I'm a little jealous, Alex. You've got all the action down there tonight. Looks like a fun place to be. We do have a lot to cover, though, as far as the weather goes as well, before you tell us a bit more about Cruisin on King, because we've got a heat warning and we've got that sort of lingering possibility that we might see some showers later tonight, too.
Yeah, so that heat warning's still in place, Tony, to your point, and expected to stay in place because we could be feeling more like 35 to 40 over the next several days. So starting today, could lift by Thursday. That's when conditions could cool down a bit, but pretty much consistent over the next week. We could see some pretty hot, pretty humid conditions, which also sparks, concerns when it comes to heat-related illnesses. So, of course, we don't want to leave people, we don't want to leave pets in vehicles when it is this hot and humid. And I feel like we've been seeing these heat warnings on and off throughout the summer already. And so as we get into looking at wake-up weather, though, tomorrow morning, looking not too bad. So some cloud cover to start the day, mainly cloudy by 6 a.m., hitting about 19 or so. Then by 10 a.m., 25 with a mix of sun and cloud is expected. But that chance of a shower and a risk of a thunderstorm is sticking with us, not only right through to the evening tonight into the overnight, but potentially tomorrow and getting into your weekend. But right now, though, we're going to enjoy the beautiful conditions that we have here. Not too bad, like you said, for Friday night, too, to be out and about along King Street here in Kitchener for Cruisin on King. We're going to take a live look at just this crowd. So we've got classic cars lined up and down King Street. So this is between Water and Frederick Streets. Plenty of live entertainment, food. There's also a licensed bar area. Downtown Kitchener is going to ring in favorites from the Beach Boys, Johnny Cash, Elvis, just to name a few. And this is running right through the evening until about 9:30 tonight. And it's pretty nice, like we've been saying throughout the hour, to have a bit of that cloud cover, bringing us a little bit of relief from the heat. But definitely a place to be tonight, Tony.
Yeah, looking at the silver lining with that cloud cover right now. And hey, like you said earlier, Alex, I mean, where else can you go and see a replica Kit from Knight Rider, DeLorean from Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Jeep? There's so much nostalgia down there. What a great event.
So much. It's perfect.
Well, Alex, appreciate it. You have yourself a great weekend as well. We'll see you back here once again on Monday. Alex Pinto live from Cruisin on King in downtown Kitchener. Thanks, Alex. And that is going to do it for us on this Friday evening. Appreciate you checking in with us as always. Our digital team has news anytime over at CTV News Kitchener.ca. And once again, Leanne's back here tonight at 11:30 after the CTV National News with Heather Butts. We'll see you once again on Monday, unless I win the Lotto Max. Just kidding. I will still report to work if I do. Have a good night, everyone.